Okay, everybody, make sure you got your mics on for me, please. We'll go right into roll call, please.
Jim Maglis.
Here.
Dan Ballard.
Here.
Bruce McIntosh.
Here.
Neil Moody.
Here.
Dan Beard. Here. Mayor Wright.
Here.
Jim McDonald. Here.
All right, reading the minutes, looking at the minutes from the 21st of July meeting. Any questions, concerns, changes, errors?
I thought they were correct. I make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented.
Okay, second. Motion by Bruce, second by Jim. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, community recognition. Do we have a community recognition?
District 2,
District 2.
I've got Tom and Pamela Morrison at 918 South Hall Street.
902 South Hall?
918.
918, sorry.
The name again, Danny, was?
Pardon?
Name again, I'm sorry.
Tom and Pamela Morrison,
Thank you.
918 South Hall. I know they've worked in their yard for years, and they take a lot of pride in it. So felt like they needed to be recognized.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing them next meeting. Thank you, Dan. All right, don't show any old business for the common council or new business for the council. Takes us down to the claims and payroll allowance report. Any concerns or questions about the claims or the payroll allowance report? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented.
Make that motion.
Motion by Jim,
Second.
second by Jan. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, any other business by council members? I think before we get too far along, I would like to mention, we have Kilo here. Kilo's our new drug dog.
David's gonna be his handler, they'll be going to training here, and hopefully it start, so, all wound up. We learned that,
You like me?
Yeah.
one day, we learned that he loves our evidence room, so he walked down the hallway a while ago, and one of the things that he does is he'll sit and he'll stare at whatever, he's indicating on, and he'll clack his teeth real hard, so he went right down to our evidence room, I'll go to the door, so clack his teeth. So
Nice.
we smell something in there. So, yeah, he's been real good. David's taking care of him. He moved in with David. David didn't have to kick his wife out or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that was good. Outside, what was trained as a bite dog as well. But he alerted on dope. People. The Dutch Shepherd. Hello, David.
David, is there a lot of training you had to go through to? Nice. Okay. I think we had discussed doing some outfitting of David's vehicle and getting it all lined
Yeah,
up.
that's the thing, was we have to get a cage kind of put in his car. We were trying to get what we had ready. It's, his car outfit cage. all in all, though, when you get a dog, you know, not trained,
Awesome.
Will he have a bulletproof vest also?
yeah, I had a lady reach out to me about that. I'd like
Awesome. Any questions?
How old's, Kilo? 3?
What's their service area or service life? I mean, not lifespan. How do you say it? How long can they serve? I guess.
with us. I was told by Evan.
Nice.
I can help out on teachers, money. Demo, trained, I believe he's trained in big pins. So that's schools, doctors, things like that.
Any other questions? All right. Welcome aboard, Keela.
Last thing I'll have to go, cash that out.
Yep.
Try to do it. Food, music playing, that's, you know, cars up. So it's a pretty good event out there. 4 o'clock.
Update on the cars. You're getting them this week?
We're done.
Maybe we'll look forward to seeing those out front, the next meeting. We'll go out and take.
What color are they?
I look
I
forward
just
to
wanna know what
seeing
to
them
look
over in the
for.
parking lot, not out front. We need to retrain our trainees. We have water
Cars-
customers.
Cars look really
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Bobby. Okay, any other business by council members? Okay, public comment. Any public comment for the council tonight? Public comment.
Good evening. My name's Mindy Morris. I live at 204 East Old Petersburg Drive. The last city council meeting, Councilman Neil Moody said he was not informed of the allegation and that he did not think it was fair to him as a council member to not know about the allegation since it had been made public. The response he received was that Mr. McDonald was out of town the previous week. My question is why the allegation was not shared with the council when it was first made on July 7th, when Mr. McDonald was in town and present at the city council meeting that very evening.
I think internally, as an investigation continues to happen and did continue to happen at that time, council members weren't involved in that, employee, research or whatever, however you say it, however you talk about, personnel and how employees are interrogated, talked to, getting to the bottom of it, that kind of thing. So other than that, that's all I can offer. It wasn't, it's something the council's talked about.
Just for the record, the incident was 1 month ago today, and Grace has not been talked to by anyone during this ongoing investigation.
Any other questions by the council? Any other public comment? Hearing none?
My question is, I mean, once the investigation's done, will we be informed of? Fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Problem is, we don't have HR part. And we did not have any.
And I do believe that, well, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in the budget hearings, but I do believe we probably do need to have some sort of training, especially full-time employees, but also when seasonal help comes in for the summer.
That's our carrier. Especially our part-time, any place.
Agreed, and it's been talked about having the handbook completed with that as well in there. So,
Yeah,
it's something that's been addressed.
And when it comes budget time, I mean, because we're going to be discussing here in a few weeks, I mean, if that money needs to be set aside and available, I think as a council, we need to make sure that's there.
We need a written procedure. In our books so the superintendents know that.
So our handbook was revised in 2008, and we're talking a long time. I know that there was talks last year when, before or the year before when I was on the council, I was at the meetings, and it was discussed to update the handbook. I mean, do you know where we're at on that?
It's ready to be updated, but until you settle, you might as well, now you got the union contract, you got the fire, or the agreement, probably the police, it's probably expired this year too, so they don't wanna complete that personnel policy till you complete all the contracts. Cause they kinda tie them together, cause if your personnel policy says something different than what your agreement says, or your union contract says, then it's like I mean, it's been bought and paid for probably, I don't know, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. I don't know, it's been a while. Prior to I get it. I think we need to strive to get.
Yeah, I do too. 100% agree.
I mean, I agree with it because it's outdated, and especially these times, because 2008 times are a lot different than they are today. Period.
So I guess my question is, Jim, as allegations as far as the research is done and the findings have happened, the council, they'll be shared with the council, correct? And then at that point, is that public record or how will that look?
I've looked into that.
Okay. So I would like it to be mentioned that the city's at a great disadvantage on personnel issues publicly on what we can and can't do. We'd like to all day give opinions and give our advice and whatever, but at the end of the day, we can't, so, per legal. But that information will be shared with the council.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that as a council, I mean, we can't rectify, or we can't change what has happened, but I think going forward, and as a council with the handbook and things like that, we can take the steps to make sure that it happens. For sure.
I think it's important to mention, you say you weren't notified. Well, I found out by reading it on Facebook. So you're not the only one who was not personally notified. I think that needs to be put out there. But once I read what what you posted, I made a phone or a text, and I did reach out. But I'm just trying to make sure everybody knows that nobody just called Jim Maglis, Jan Ballard, Bruce McIntosh, and Dan Beard and excluded Neil. Am I right? Unless you guys got some personal phone calls that I don't know about, but I didn't get a phone call. I responded because of the Facebook post.
And that's what I said. I said as a council, we weren't, I mean, it wasn't just me.
Well, but you singled out, you said you weren't, and I wanted to make sure that people knew that we also weren't notified, which it didn't bother me, because I didn't know what was going on, and it's not really a council matter, because I like to go through the protocol, and I was letting that work its way out. And then that's when I acted. That's all I've got.
And I know you mentioned that nobody has reached out to Grace, but, I mean, me personally, I did reach out via text and also via telephone call, as far as trying to figure out where we can move forward, on the situation. Like I said, I know that there is also an investigation that goes on because there's two sides to both stories. Or when you have two people that are having an issue, there's two sides to both sides.
Andy, I hate to even ask you this, but because you just said it, can you come up here? Because it's live streaming and it won't pick you up from back there. I'm sorry. I hate you have to repeat that, but it probably needs to be.
Sure. I said I also tried to follow the chain of command. When the incident happened, Grace didn't want to reach out to the mayor because it was a holiday. Brad and I told her, you really need to at least send him a text or give him a call and let him know that you do need to talk with him on Monday. They had that conversation on Monday. A week and a half later, I had the pool manager going around and telling other guards that he was fine, nothing was going to happen, and essentially boasting about the fact that he'd gotten away with what he did. Our intent has not been to smear any one person over this. Our intent is to create a kinder, more inclusive community for everyone involved, along with sensitivity training and updating the policies. I think there should also be a guide for employees who do feel like they've been discriminated against, because we're intelligent, resourceful people, and it's taken a lot to try to figure out what the next step should be to try to make sure that we do get a positive change that creates the kind of community we want to live in.
Thank you. I'm sorry to make you have to come.
I think as we look back, I think a lot of things could have been handled differently. I don't know if Facebook or any social media is a way to address policies and or grievances towards the city. I think at some point, there should be a better way, and that's maybe what the handbook looks at, is how citizens come to public meetings or they contact city council members with their problems and handle it that way. Like I said before, being at the disadvantage of handling procedures through the legal process is different than being able just to air your opinions on social media. So with that being said, I think we could all do better on certain levels, but social media is an animal that you have to really be careful of what's accurate, what's inaccurate, and as soon as we wrap up, and I think we pretty well have the investigation, we'll share that with the council. And then I don't know, like we said earlier, is that public record or how that works? But okay. it is a personnel issue, and that's what we have to keep in mind. Nobody wanted this to happen. Nobody thought this was okay in any shape, way, or form, but we are limited per law on how we handle things. Okay, anything else from the council tonight? Any more public comment? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Jan,
Second.
second by Dan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That was second by Bruce.
It was close.
It was a tie.
Okay.